I'm speaking on arts and music. So in high school, one of my main activities was actually piano. And so I started playing piano at 5, but I actually was really bad at it for a long time. I think I almost quit because my piano teacher thought I was so terrible. And so I switched a few teachers, and then finally I got a teacher in around I think 6th or 7th grade that worked really hard for me. And how many of you guys play an instrument? So decent number. And I mean, not all of you have to do this, but for those of you that play an instrument, one option in high school is to do competitions. And so after I switched teachers and I started practicing really hard, I decided that I really wanted to be better at piano and do more competitions. And so actually, when I got into high school, 9th, 10th grade, I competed at various all-stays in piano, solo, and also piano duet. And then in school, actually, I was part of the orchestra, but I wasn't as good at violin. But what I did do is I was really interested in music, so I started a club, organized some students to go to nursing homes, and we played in a nursing home once a month, and I went with friends and we just practiced once a week, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's just always an option. And then I guess we're running kind of short on time for this section, but I guess the one thing I want to tell you guys is that don't be discouraged. I think with music things, it's really easy to get discouraged. There's so many people out there who are really good, and it seems like everyone has been playing for forever. But I think that if you really want to do something, there's a ton of competitions out there. There's a ton of different opportunities, some of them more competitive than others. If you want to perform, if you want to learn a piece well, then all it takes is time and dedication. So that's all.
Hi everyone, my name's Karen, and unlike, these guys, I was never really all that good at any of these things up here. I was awful at sports. I was on student government, but I wasn't president or anything. I was an academic, and I played violin, but I wasn't concertmaster. I wasn't super great at anything. And, all throughout, that is fantastic. Okay, but kind of my point here is that the thing I ultimately really fell in love with back in high school came about really not by any plan of mine. It kind of was very much by chance. And I'm going to echo a little bit what Willie was saying about letting just things happen, being open to the idea of new things happening and coming to your doorstep. But I started teaching at a Chinese school for children adopted in China back in middle school around 7th or 8th grade. And it was just kind of a weekend job. My mom drove me there. I taught these kids for a few hours, and then I came home. And it was nice. But a couple years into teaching this, the Chinese school decided to close down. And a lot of the parents, at that point, already knew me because I hung out with the kids a lot. Were like, oh, Karen, why don't you keep on teaching our kids Chinese? And that's kind of how Hand in Hand came to happen. And for those of you guys that don't know, Hand in Hand is an organization I started back in high school that works with children adopted from China. And at the time, we had a Chinese language and dance class, as well as a Big Sister and Brothers mentoring program that a few of the guys up here actually were a part of. And so my point here is that, if something in school or something organized like Boy Scouts doesn't really exist for you, and you're not passionate about it and aren't necessarily involved in that, you can look outside of school. There are a lot of opportunities everywhere if you just take a moment to look, and you never know, you might find something that you're really passionate about.